You're listening to Life Check Yourself with life coach, transformational leader, and dating and relationship badass Marni Battista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important life and love issues you want to know about. So if you're ready to life check yourself in your relationships, your career, and the areas of your life that matter most to you, and you're not afraid to be called out on your stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
Life Check Yourself with Chris Gillis, the 1 to 10 scale of women hotness. Are men who do it jerks, or are they just men? Ladies, welcome. We're so excited to talk about Love's Blind, because it isn't, really. How are you doing this morning, Christopher?
Great. Coming in from my live mobile studio. As you guys
I love that.
We're not going to miss this, gals. We're doing by hook or crook to give you
Exactly.
the inside scoop on
Exactly. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure you check us out on YouTube also, so you can see everything that's happening. Also, check us out on Instagram at Dating with Dignity, TikTok at Dating with Dignity. We are here to talk about Love is Blind. I have to say one thing today, though, just to start, because, I keep hearing all these 2023 trends, right, that are coming up. And so I saw an article on 2023 dating trends. I literally almost spit out my coffee. They were so dumb.
What did you read? Because I've come across some of these things, but I didn't know what's coming in, but apparently some weird stuff's happening.
Well, just one of them that I saw, which was called Open Casting Approach to Dating. And I'm like, what the hell's that? And it's basically dating with an open mind and not just dating according to your type, which is literally dumb because right? Like that's what we've been teaching here for like over a decade is like, you think you have a type, right? And we talk about this on the show all the time, like the 6, 6, and 6 or the 8, 8, and 8, right? And he has to live in this. He can't have like, if he's in LA, he can't have like an 818 area, phone number he can't live here, and that we have. And so the reason I'm saying is because I'm sad that this is a trend for 2023. Like, that's what we've been doing here for a decade. Like we're always talking about being open-minded and open-hearted and looking at non-negotiables and core values. So anyway, I just want to say, if you see that, it's not a trend. You should have been doing that forever. And, I don't think that it'll just be a thing for 2023. I think it's a way you could live your life is to be open, curious, and optimistic.
I love that. I was at a call yesterday with a gal who's wanting to date more. And so I asked her about her list of non-negotiables off. And she kept going and going and going. And then as she goes, and she would add another one. And she understood. She goes, I realized my dating pool keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. She kept adding all these filters. And then when I was done, I was okay, so you have about 0.001, percent of the population that's going to be left for these things. But I could tell kind of like sounds like some of these, Gen Zers or whatnot, these new, trendsetters, that they're starting to realize, carrying all these filters down, man, if you have like 18, 20 coffee filters in your thing, no, you're not going to get any good sweet Joe cup of Joe in the morning. That's going to come out.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking about that too, because it's like when you look, like I've been looking for rental houses because we're going to be trying out living in Colorado. And so I've been on Zillow, or if you go on Airbnb or anything, right? And you have so many filters, you're like, you have so many filters, and then you're like in Denver and there's like one house. Do you know what I mean? Right? You're like, good luck getting that one house. So anyway,
and it's all bullshit anyways. The pictures are all fake, right? And they're shooting it from a fisheye line. It's like in real life.
Exactly. So open casting dating is, first of all, you're not, whoever made that term up is dumb also, because you're not casting, you're not looking for Prince Charming. This is like a partner you're going to share life. So maybe for grown-ass women, just be open, curious, and optimistic, and listen to like every other episode we've ever done on non-negotiables, and you could learn how to do this new trend for 23. Okay, let's talk about, oh God. Okay, we're talking about Love is Blind, but this topic came up, and I think it's so interesting because we're in the season, and we've talked about like the pods and the honeymoon period and And then we have these two dudes, Cole and Bartise, who are like really honest. And they just say, like, in my opinion, you're like, that's stupid shit. But I think that's a really good conversation. And as our, you know, man expert, like, are men honest? Like, is that too honest? If you ask your guy, do I look fat in this dress? Should he say, yeah, you do look fat in this dress? Or, yeah, that girl is hotter than you. I mean,
right. All right. So a caveat, ladies, when I say ladies have less filters, men have more filters, especially when we're communicating, and use your brain a little bit. And, you know, that's definitely I think it's interesting because there's like especially the way that they worded it on the show. It's like, is it okay if I'm honest with you? Very, very, very slippery, as if honesty is a bad thing and you're going to be a bad person. But versus, I think a lot of times, and I've had a couple friends like this who they use their honesty to be it's not really an honest, they're just being an asshole, but they're trying to hurt you. I guess what is your intention, right, behind making that comment? Think about it and stop for a second, filter. How do I think this person's going to react? Do I really think she's going to, you know, react well when I tell her she's, you know, I give her some number that's less than, you know, whatever, a perfect 10, or if I, you know, blatantly, brutally honest, I think, yeah, you should probably work out a little more. Oftentimes men have patience with us. I've definitely been guilty of it when I'm not using my filter in my brain.
What's the stupidest thing you've ever said? What's the stupidest thing you've ever said?
Oh my gosh, great question. I will try to motivate my woman sometimes by I guess challenging or reminding her, that I guess maybe it is dumb, almost like she's not there yet, or she's not enough yet, or somebody else has something that she has, where men oftentimes we get like, jealous, we want to get that. But for her, I can feel, you know, it kind of makes, you know, ladies, someone shrink up and like not want to play. Whereas me, it makes me want to like, I'm competitive. I want to go out and get them. So yeah.
Weren't you giving Dr. Emily shit about like not like her wearing sweatpants and shit? Like, weren't you saying stuff about like wearing sweatpants?
Yeah, I'd say like one dumb thing I could have said, I probably would have been like, like, my gosh, wow, another sweatpant day, or are you going to the gym or something like afterwards, versus would have been more constructive, like, gosh, you have such, you know, you have such gorgeous legs, such pretty curves. It's kind of hard to see them through and you know, and appreciate it through those, you know, through those baggy sweatpants or whatnot.
That's so funny. I love that, because if you've seen Dr. Emily, she's so beautiful, and I think she's adorable. And that's the kind of thing that as women, like that is really hard to hear. Like, if it's not said in the right way, you know, and so if I were going to coach you to say something, I would say something like, I don't know, let's see, how would I want to hear that? I don't know. We should have people put in the comments. If you're a woman and your guy wishes that you wore some more sexy clothes every once in a while, how would you want to hear it? You know, I think for me, it would be, you know what I think would, if that were happening to me, I would like to be out with my man and him be like, oh my God, you look so amazing in this outfit. You should try it on.
You're so,
you know, or like I saw an ad, or I saw this thing on Instagram. You look so good in this outfit. You know, like your body would be like so smoking in this thing. And then I'd be like, oh, really? Yeah, right? Like, instead of like, oh, why are you wearing so many sweatpants?
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny.
So I would like to hear what other people have to say.
It is true. And some people are like, sweatpants are cool. They are cool, by the way. The sweatpants that we're talking about in questions, they were inspired by Marni's second eldest daughter. Literally copied her girls there.
I've worn those, and people are like, those are such a cute outfit. They're outfit sweatpants, just so you know, ladies.
So many differences. There's another little fun caveat is what how women compliment. I guess this is kind of in the same vein, how different we speak in how we comment, and girls are so good about the tiny little subtle things, and especially kind of coming back to the podcast, in men, oftentimes we're so incredibly direct and blunt. I am almost sometimes we're too blunt, and we don't, just the way it's tough for us to articulate and dance that intricate, beautiful dance that women just seem to be inherently good at on there as well. So I was just thinking about how how gals will compliment each other and they lift each other up, but their views are so different on what they find sexy and attractive. So ladies, yes, this is all, yeah, put in the comments, how do you want, if do you, I totally get why you go out to dress for yourself and be for yourself. But also, Marni, what are your thoughts on, and also though, what are your thoughts on dressing up for your man? Is that being supplicant? Is that being submissive? Is that not good? Or do you think there is a powerful aspect to that?
I think that's really great, because when we're working with clients in our program and we help them figure out like their outfits for their online package, their online portfolio, so to speak, we help them figure out like, how are you going to show your most authentic, feminine, sexy self? And women are like, oh, I would never wear that. That's not me, blah, blah, blah. And I had to go through this myself. I mean, I remember when I was doing that myself, and I was working with a stylist, and she was like, what size are you? And I told her, and then we went shopping, and she was like, this is like 2 sizes too big. I was like, no, it's not. It's comfortable. And she was like, it's too big. And then I put on my actual size. And at first I was like, oh, this is so tight. It feels so uncomfortable. You can see my body and my curves, you know? And I remember, I mean, like that was like so many years ago, but I'll never forget like getting rid of like 35 bags of clothes that were just like totally old, didn't fit me right, too big, too baggy, too wrong, you know?
Yeah.
And that was a big, my like own, just like talking about clothes, my own like fashion evolution didn't even start till I was probably like 49 or 50. In fact, I watched a video of me. Oh my God. I watched a video that we shot in like 2014. I'm literally wearing the most horrendous, horrible outfit for myself. I remember buying that and thinking it was so cute. And now that I know about image and style and body type, because I got informed about it, because I really want, and I want everyone to hear this, you don't need to be girly or fashiony or whatever. It's about how do you dress and make an impression that actually flatters like who you are, right? It's like if you're cooking, what are the flavors and the cooking time and the ingredients that are going to yield the best outcome, right? Like it's not like, but it's authentic to you, right? And so I just made a decision when I was younger, like I don't like clothes, I'm wearing boxer shorts, you know, like I don't care, because I just didn't feel good about myself, right? So I looked at that video and I was like, oh my God, like I was wearing like the wrong neckline, the wrong color, like anyway, it's not showing my best self. So I think it's a really, really important piece, is that you're doing it for you because you want to optimize and really explore all parts of you. Because I believe, and when I do this with clients and they trust us and they just do what we tell them to do, and they look at the pictures and they're like, oh my God, I look amazing.
Yeah.
Like I look beautiful. I look sexy. Like I look like a woman, not like I'm hiding myself. And I'm talking about women of all sizes who go through this, whether they're thin or bigger. They still feel like, wow, I'm sexy and I'm beautiful, because they know how to optimize what they have.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. I think that there's also something so powerful to know and reassuring, to know that you know you're way more critical, and you find yourself way less sexy than we do. And there's so much power in just really embracing, and I don't know, I guess it's almost stimulating to know that man, if you give your guy an opportunity to see you in your, you know, your curves, that you were, like you said, you were kind of throwing that burlap bag or whatever it was, because you just didn't think you were you know, all that a bag of chips. But man, there's nothing. There's funny memes about, it's like a meme about a guy, and it says, and his eyes are open. It's like, you know, me after I've seen my wife naked 10,000 times in the morning. Every time she walks by, we're still like, whoa, we're high, because we don't have that. So yeah, it's you guys got a superpower on us. Yeah, and even though, you know, you may not, you can use it to your, you know, it's another gift to use to your advantage to get what you want out of it.
I freaking love that. Okay, so let's talk about this. Oh yeah, do you mind my honesty? Yeah, I do mind it. You're an asshole, Bartise and Cole. They just said stupid shit. That's all we need to say about that. So here's the thing. This was really bugged me in this show. They kept saying like, you know, well, Colleen would be a 10 for me. Raven's a 10 for me. You're like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
First of all, if a guy says that to you, like, run, I think.
Early on.
Like, if a guy said to you, like, yeah, Giselle is a freaking 10 and you're a 7, that you can't unsee that. Like, that would be horrible. Right? So, but why do guys rank? And like, I mean, yeah, I don't think a guy should ever tell you. I don't think you should ever ask, what do you think I am? Do you think I'm a 10?
Okay, that's good.
I'm your 10. I'm your 10. I would tell Jeremy, like, obviously, like, I know when a woman is drop dead gorgeous. Yeah, she's a 10, but I'm your 10.
Yeah. I love that you said that you started with the caveat is gals, because sometimes it will, some of these questions, how's my butt look? Some of these, do you think it's setting us up? And yeah, those are just questions. Just don't avoid it.
Ask them.
Not because you're not a 10, but because we always are curious about what that next person looks like naked. We can't help it. Our brains are always wondering. We're always imagining something is better than it is that we imagine. And also that and there's also times we've talked about it, especially on shows where super attractive people, maybe it's Love Island or Bachelor in Paradise, and I'm like, starting off, I'm like, this girl's I'm sure I've said, oh, this girl's a 10, and then by the end, like,
she's a smoke show.
Genevieve, I love you, but by the end, I was like, oh, good. I was like, no, keep her away. She's not. She's a, she's a 0, and it's not fair because it's not a fair question to ask because your man knows you so much more. But we are very simple guys, and we're just ranking on the binary scale, and we're competitive and want to show off to our guys, and we'll oftentimes date, myself included, women that I don't consider a 10, but my guy friends do. So I'm like, oh, I got to show off to the bros, for a while, which is extremely ineffectual and dumb. So yeah, just disregard our dumb ranking systems.
Disregard their dumb ranking systems. They're dumb. Also, and women don't do that. We don't go like, yeah, he's a 10. Although one time I was talking to Raina was at Reality. Raina was at she got to go to a Kansas City Chiefs game and be on I was going to say courtside, but be on the field. And it was pregame, and she was FaceTiming me, and she was like showing me this like super hot football player guy, and she was like zooming in and everything. And Jeremy was like, who are you looking at? I just thought it was so funny. He's so jealous. It's so weird. I'm like,
yeah, because we want to be your team too. Yeah, everybody wants.
I know. I forget that though. I literally forget that. I'm like, obviously, I just think he's like 25 and he's like a cute, whatever. Now that my kids are older, it's just weird. Okay.
So ladies don't do it either. Okay, I love you.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm like, I shouldn't do. I should have been more subtle for sure.
Is it ever okay? And to, let's say you're at dinner, you and a bum, and this stunning male female object thing walks by you. Is it ever okay if you both see it and you both kind of look at each other to utter the words? And if so, what would be an acceptable form to express, like, holy moly? Yikes.
Well, this is really interesting because I have a client who's she has a boyfriend, and she says he's always commenting that when he sees like really beautiful women, and it really upsets her. And this is what I want to talk about because it's how you experience or interpret that, right? So if me and Jeremy are out and I see like a beautiful person, a woman, I'll be like, oh my God, that woman is beautiful. And they'll be like, yeah. I don't take it like, I don't think like I'm not. I don't take it as like, you don't think I'm, right? I'm like, look at her. She's gorgeous, right? Or she's really so pretty. Or even when we're watching The Bachelor, right? I'm like, oh my God, that woman is gorgeous. Or, she's so pretty. She looks like blah, blah, blah. I don't take it personally. Like, that's just not my trigger or not my hot button. And maybe it's because I'm doing it, right? I'm calling it out. He's not saying that. But most of the time for me, I don't react. And I think it's also because his actions show me all the time that he thinks I'm beautiful, I'm sexy, he's attracted to me, so there's nothing in his actions that make me feel unsafe or insecure. So if I say that other person is attractive, I'm not worried.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not like, I don't feel insecure. So I think it's also about like how secure are you?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that's great. And I think that we're also blessed slash cursed, I suppose. We would be cursed living in Los Angeles if our entire identity rested on, you know, our genetics, which we have no, you know, very little control over. But I think you and I have realized that so many shitbags come in beautiful skin suits, and they really did little to deserve it or earn it, and how repulsive. I know you dated some smoke show dudes, and some other non-smoke show dudes, and most likely the overall tens are you know, not all. It's oftentimes not the model, actress, actor, you know, slash model, surfer, or whatever it is. Although now you do have a very hot guy though, so I'm not discounting you, Jeremy.
I do have a very hot guy. And you know what's funny is I was talking to an old friend of mine yesterday, and like I knew her like when I was in my single days, like when I think around when I met you, and when I was in my like overcoming my my high school years of being unattractive, I wanted to just date any hot guy that I could, just because I never got to. Anyway, and she brought up this person that I used to date that she knew, and she dated his friend. And I was like, oh my God, I wonder what he's doing. And I went on Facebook, and he literally got so fat. Yeah. He got so fat.
And that makes you wonder. Whoa, because you put him on a pedestal, and you imagine this person is, you know, a Greek statue, and nothing's going to, and how interestingly and how shallow and how quick those things, how they don't really matter, I guess, is what the take.
Totally. And I don't say that like in a like, you know, whatever way. I'm just saying like we're all humans, right? And in the end, there are insides that go with the outsides. And when we're only looking on the outsides will change for better or worse, right? Like, so we have to make sure that the insides are who we really fall in love with.
Absolutely.
Right? Because the outsides are totally going to change. And and so, you know, if you were saying like, oh, I'm going to stay with this person, like because of the ego stuff you were talking about, looks will fade.
I love it. And this nice, beautiful little callback, as they say in comedy, to what we started off with about adding up. Be careful, be mindful. If your filters are based on things that the person had zero responsibility, and there's no indication they didn't create through their character or their hard work or their compassion or morals, be careful of what filters you're allowed. You know, they can't, you know, for the most part affect, you know, their height, or, you know, all so many things. Oh, he has to have blue eyes, he has to have this or that, or, you know, maybe he's got, you know, has to have amazing genetics and six pack and all those things, because those, at the end of the day, those are very often rarely does it seem that these long-term relationships that are happy are like, wow, I'm so glad I found somebody who had a six pack, or so glad I found a girl with, you know, a guy who was 6'4". That's why we work, because he's 6'4". Like, no,
yeah, this is such a good point. By the way, I have to tell on myself, like, I get insecure. This is my insecurity, is when I see like a really pretty girl who's also like super athletic, or like a bravery equal of Jeremy. Right? Like an adventure-y, beautiful girl. I'm like, I bet you wish you were with some like mountain climbing, you know, like surfer girl, you know, who like jumps out of a helicopter onto a ski mountain. It's funny. We met when we were on our river trip. There were like so many of those women. Like, it was insane. I was like the least adventure-y and brave and coordinated. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm pretty brave and adventure-y and coordinated. I mean, compared to like the average, right? But I was just like, oh my God, I wonder if Jeremy like wishes he were with one of these, whatever. That's my insecurity. That's why I say like, oh, do you wish I was more, whatever. So I'm just telling on myself, because it's not that I'm like so confident and secure that I don't have any issues.
No, I love that you say that. Thank you for sharing that, because I think that is another really good message for us to realize that if he was with that gal they put together, there would be no polarity. They'd both be fighting for the same exact thing. They would both be, and I know Jeremy well, for example, and it's not about you or Jeremy, but I know you guys work because he goes, hey, watch me, watch how close I can get to the edge, knowing that the edge eventually is going to fall off. And he loves that you're like, hey, dummy, step away from the edge. Well, I want to go to the edge. Well, no, you don't, you're going to fall. And he enjoys that banter, and that you care him enough about him to pull him back. Whereas if this chick was, you know, he's come jumping out of a helicopter with a surfboard. She'd be like, well, I'm going up to I'm going up to outer space and dropping out. You'd be like, dang it. You'd lose his sense of who he is. And his specialness is no longer special especially because that's his identity is so strongly aligned. I think he would feel threatened, and there wouldn't be. Marni, I always say it, and I don't mean to be a jerk, but you rarely see, for example, even in platonic relationships, like a group of just smoke show hot girls all together and best friends, because they don't have. Someone needs to talk, someone needs to listen, someone needs to give advice, someone needs to do these sort of things. Same thing with guys, and it's those nuances and the variances that work to make relationships, both platonic and amorous relationships, really work.
I love that so much. I'm like kind of speechless, but it's so true. Okay, last thing, because Chris is going to go crush it in his day job. But don't forget, you should all go to contestantchris.com if you are looking to work on your image, or you know some men who are looking for some dating coaching.
Yes.
People ask me for that. Contestantchris.com. Okay, let's talk about Mr. You put this in the notes. Dating a possessive guy. Cute or scary? Matt and Colleen. Oh my God. So Matt, look, this is great because he was literally cheated on and it was the love of his life, and he's got some trauma and looks like he didn't do much work on it. It's only been a year. And Colleen might be out of control and might be inappropriate. We don't ever really know the truth, but oh my God. The Reddit and the netizens are all like, oh my God, that guy is scary, possessive, psycho, tie you up, like put you in the refrigerator and don't tell anyone about it. What do you think? Is he scary or is it like cute?
For me, and I think that what's fascinating to me, and I want to hear you talk a little bit more about, is the female perspective from a guy's perspective. There's nothing scarier than you're mine, right? But you know that you're not going anywhere. It's like the Joker or something like that. I'm gonna tie you to a radiator in the basement. You're never gonna get away. That is
but Rodney did that. Rodney did that on Paradise.
I know. That's what I loved. That's why I had to put that in our notes today, because and that's because what was her name again? Eliza was so adamant about it. And almost all the girls were, what's her, Genevieve as well. They're like, I need a man. You need to tell me I'm not going. You need to tell me this, and you're mine, and I'm yours, and that's just that, and it's done. And I'm like, well, okay. And this dude Matt does it, on Love Is Blind, and it scared me. It freaked me out, and he seemed a little psycho.
Yeah.
I am so confused, and how gals work. He must have learned that somewhere, or that's something to do. But what the heck is going on there? And why do some girls dig it?
Well, I think that's it. Well, that's what's so interesting. It's like, first of all, I think Fight for Me comes from this mythology of like fucking Disneyland, like Disney movies, right? Like
Disney fun though. Disney fun.
Right. No, for sure. But I think it's this princess thing, right? Like, you're going to be rescued. This guy's going to fight for you. He's going to pull his sword and like set up the beast and, all these kinds of things. And so we get that in our head, but like, we have to understand what it really, really means. I'll never forget this. Like, I was doing a personal development retreat. I was doing Hoffman with Jeremy. We got a chance to do it again together. And he went and he was doing this one exercise, like on his own, like off schedule, because he wanted to like really work on this one thing. And I remember telling my coach at the time, like, wow, like that showed me that he's really fighting for me. Like, he's fighting for the relationship because he was working really hard on his patterns and on his limiting beliefs and on himself. To me, that was like, wow, he's really fighting for me. Not like, oh, he's gonna like, punch somebody out, or like be like, you can't see other people, or you need to like all this insecure weird shit. So I think that women need to, I think listeners, ladies, I think you need to really like dig into that. What does that mean? There's a whole thing we do when we do our live event, Ignite Your Life, where we talk about the power play paradigm. Like, we have so many confused messages in relationships around power. Like, we want a guy to be our hero, but yet we want to be independent women. We
Yeah.
want, you know, we want to have a balanced partnership, but we're sick of making decisions and we want the guy to make all the decisions. And we have all these mixed messages and guys are like, I'm so confused.
Yeah, I love that. And
I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't think there is one because I think most women are really confused.
yeah, I think that you had a more healthier take on it, because it sounds like you said fighting for me, and I think sometimes, but there was no sense of his work, for example, or his battle with the end goal to be to control you, and
right.
And that's scary. And yeah, just to kind of touch back to what we were saying a little bit about, you know, the Bachelor in Paradise situation and stuff. And a good man is going to be like, no, I'm not going to tell you you can't do this. Right? And am I wrong? Is there ever a time that a man should tell you, no, you can't go out and see another guy if you know, I don't know, if we're just started dating?
Well, here's what's interesting. I do think, and this is important, I mean, I think we should discuss this on another episode because I think it's a whole conversation. I think there's a time where a strong woman needs a guy to set a boundary.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like, yeah, sure, it's okay. You can go like out with your ex-boyfriend to dinner, and it's cool that you guys went out to the bar afterward. I mean, yeah, it's fine you went over to, like, you know, take care of your ex's kids when he had to run. I mean, I think sometimes they're with strong, aggressive women, like if we could push, if you're a pushover,
yeah,
then we lose respect. And I think there has to be some boundary of like, no, that's not okay with me. And I think it's not so I think that's why I think it's a larger conversation, because it's about like, what boundaries am I setting for myself?
Yeah.
So, but I think in the instance of Matt and Colleen, like, it isn't about it isn't, there's no conversations, right? Like, and why was he mad that she went out partying with the girls? Was it because she didn't tell him? Was it because she didn't come home? Is it because he's right? Like, that's kind of a weird controlling thing. But if you go back to like the other season of Love is Blind, where, and I can't remember the character's name, but the guy was a partier, and that cute girl was like, you party too much. So if she's saying like, no, like, it's not okay that you spend 5 nights a week at clubs, right? Or working, or at the gym, or hanging out with your friends, like, and you're not investing time in this relationship. I think that's an okay, like, you can't do this. Like, but it's also like, you have to language it from a place of like, my needs aren't getting met. This isn't working for us. Like, what can we do about it? Like, that's the.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because no, I see that, and I think, so I jokingly say, hey, guy, you know, men are simple. We can't do two things at the same time. And I think the reason this is such a challenge for us is because we understand there's just so many like fast curveballs. It's just like a crazy pitch for us, because one, you know, oftentimes, like, you know, some of these very strong women, they're testing our boundaries, and that's always, you know, with the subtle tests aren't fair unless you know you're taking them, right? And then also, and then there comes a thing where, okay, then guys are like, okay, well, I know I've been, okay, 2022, what am I? Oh yeah, controlling. I'm not supposed to be controlling, so I don't want to tell it, because I'm gonna get damned then as well. But then, Marni, the really big curveball, and which is tough for men especially, then, is you said, you alluded to it, and you said, well, what ideally needs to be done is said, you know, okay, you know, obviously you're a young woman, you can go out with your girlfriends and stay out as long as you want. I don't control you. Instead, it's easier most of the time we just stop there. But I think too, if we really want to take it all the way home, and this is a lesson for especially men, is then we would have to say, explain our vulnerability and say, you can do that. It does. I do feel, you know, nervous, scared, sad, something along those lines. And that's tough to get at when we're kind of already feeling hurt, you know, by you leaving, to then open ourselves up. We've said, you know, vulnerability is a bit, you know, having the willingness to be injured more. It's tough to open yourself to injury more when you're already feeling kind of slayed and opened up, maybe a little embarrassed that she's out with her girlfriends, guy friends at a club or something like that. And you're like, oh, it's just a lot for a guy to hold and handle. I think that's why we drop the ball so much on those things.
Absolutely. I know you have to go do your day job. I love you. This was amazing. Ladies, so many hot takes from this. Rewind it, share, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, forward this to your friends. We want listening hours, people. And check out consultantchris.com. And ladies, whatever you do, life check yourself. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for tuning into today's show. So if being in an intimate relationship in which you feel 100% seen, heard, and accepted by a high caliber man is a priority for you right now, and you're interested in seeing if you're a fit for working with me and my team at Dating with Dignity, here's what I want you to do. Just head over to DWD VIP, that's D as in dating, W, D as in dating, VIP.com, and book a call to speak with my team. We'll get on the phone with you for about 60 minutes and you'll get crystal clear on what's stopping you from finding true love right now. We'll also take a look at what you want to create, what you want your whole life to look like when you're able to finally be fully expressed as a woman in a healthy relationship with an incredible guy. And if we can help you get from where you are right now to where you want to be, we will show you the fastest path possible that makes sense for you to do that. We help smart, successful women all over the world solve this one missing piece in their life so they can finally have it all. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, head over to DWDVIP.com. I'm Marni Battista, and let's talk soon.